This is Introduction to Pear Deck for Google Slides. If you are a PowerPoint Online user or a Microsoft user, I would encourage you to stay. We are going to focus and work specifically in Google Slides today, simply because that's the platform that I am most comfortable in. However, I think that you are going to learn a lot. The add-on for Google Slides, the Pear Deck add-on for Google Slides is very similar to the add-in for PowerPoint Online. So please stay, and I hope you'll learn a lot. Here's a quick agenda for today. We are going to start by learning how to build a Pear Deck lesson. So the first part of this webinar will be devoted to looking at the Pear Deck add-on in Google Slides and how to use it to make your Google Slides presentations interactive with Pear Deck. Then we will explore the student and the teacher view. And I'm going to show you how student pace mode works, because I know that a lot of you are going to be juggling perhaps in classroom instruction, perhaps totally remote instruction, but you're going to be maybe even doing a hybrid of the two. And I think that student pace mode is going to be very useful for you. And then we'll talk about your Pear Deck sessions and settings, and we'll leave a lot of time at the end for Q&A. We will go ahead and begin. So the first thing that I want to show you is how to install or open the Pear Deck add-on in Google Slides. So again, Pear Deck is an add-on. You're going to hear me say that a million times today, but you can find it from right here in the File menu from Google Slides. And if you're a PowerPoint user, you can find it by clicking Add-ins in PowerPoint. Okay, so in order to open or install the Pear Deck add-on, you're just going to come over here and click this add-ons button. So again, what I did to start is I opened a Google Slides file. And if you already use Google Slides or are planning to use Google Slides, I would recommend just starting with something that you already have created. Definitely don't reinvent the wheel. Open an existing Google Slides presentation. Once you've done that, you'll come up here to the File menu and you'll click right here, Add-ons. So one more time, to open or to install the Pear Deck add-on for Google Slides, you will click Add-ons. So of course, I already have the Pear Deck add-on installed, and so to open it, I would just hover here over Pear Deck for Google Slides. If you don't have the Pear Deck add-on installed, you can do that from this drop-down menu as well. So from Add-ons, you will click this button here that says Get Add-ons. So let me show you how to do that one more time. To find the drop-down menu where you will install Pear Deck, you will come here to this File menu, click Add-ons, and then click Get Add-ons to install for the first time. You might see that Pear Deck is already here on the main page of the G Suite Marketplace. And if that's the case, you can just click it and install it from there. You'll have a blue button here that says Install. If that's not the case, no problem. You can just come up here to the search bar right here and search for Pear Deck, and it will pop up right away. And then you can install it in the same way. So you can install and open the Pear Deck add-on from right within Google Slides, right here by clicking Add-ons. I just want to quickly reemphasize or reiterate that if you are in PowerPoint, then you will be looking for add-ins. So it's a very slight differentiation. You'll be looking for add-ins instead of add-ons, but if it doesn't show up in your PowerPoint main menu, you have a little search bar in PowerPoint and you can just search for add-ins. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you actually open the add-on for Pear Deck. So I'm going to hover over Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on, and then we'll click Open. And this is where the real fun gets started, because you'll see that Pear Deck just lives right here in the interface of Google Slides. So whether or not you're familiar with using Google Slides already, or you're still learning some new tricks. Pear Deck is easy to use because it lives right within the Google Slides platform. So let me show you how to do that once more. Oops. You will click add-ons, and then hover over Pear Deck for Google Slides, and you'll click Open Pear Deck add-on. Okay. I just glanced at the chat, and I want to tell you really quickly, someone mentioned that they're seeing answers to questions that they can't see, which I understand why that would be confusing. So double check that you are posting your questions in the Zoom chat to all panelists and attendees so that when Annika and Emma are answering them, you can see the questions and the answers. So that is a good tip that I forgot to tell you early on. So Sarah, thank you for asking. Okay. All right, so we are going to start in the Pear Deck add-on for Google Slides. And there are 4 things that I want to specifically highlight for you today. The first thing that we're going to talk about is the Pear Deck template library here in the add-on. Our templates are pre-made, ready to use slides, but they're also fully customizable. So if you're brand new to Pear Deck user, I would highly recommend starting with the templates. They're going to lower the barrier to entry. They're beautiful and easy to use, and they're the quickest way to go from a non-Pear Deck user to a Pear Deck user. Okay, the second thing that we're going to talk about is this Ask Students a Question section. So we will talk through how to make your existing slides or your new static slides interactive with Pear Deck. And when I say static slides, I mean slides that are not interactive with Pear Deck already. The third thing we will talk about is how to add audio, whether it's instructions or greetings or music or speeches or whatever it is, how to add audio to your slides using Pear Deck. And then finally, we will talk about how to start a Pear Deck lesson up here. So let's get started. 4 things we're going to cover. The first is the template library. So to find the template library, all you have to do once you've opened the add-on, again from this drop-down menu, is click Our Template Library. Let me show you that one more time by clicking back. Click Our Template Library here, and once you do that, you'll get this full menu here of lesson builders, so bell ringers, check for understanding assessments, exit tickets up here at the top. We've got some learning development slides for critical thinking and social emotional learning. And then down here, we have our subject area specific and also our grade level specific templates. So I mentioned that I was a social studies teacher. I specifically love these. Once you click one of these, tabs here, you'll be taken into a preview. So you can see what the template slide will look like and also a description of the interactivity type that's already included with the template. So again, this is the preview of what students will see, and then I can see down here below that this template is a text slide. If you're not quite sure what that means, no problem. You can just hover over this little question mark and it will tell you what that interactivity type means. So text means that students type a response to your prompt from their devices. I also really love these social emotional learning slides. I mentioned I was a 7th grade teacher, which is both a very social and a very emotional time for students. So I love these. I'm going to demonstrate with the social emotional learning slides how to add a template into your existing presentation. Okay, so again, once I click social emotional learning, I can scroll through the preview here so I can get a feel for what all of these slides will look like. Again, Pear Deck is fully customizable. So if you see something you like, but you need to tweak it a little bit, you can absolutely do that. I'm going to use this stress check slide here. It's late July. A lot of us are about to go back to school. I think we can all benefit from a little stress check. To add this template to my existing presentation, all I have to do is, from the add-on over here on the right-hand side, just click it. So I'm going to click it, give my add-on a little bit of time to think, and then once it's ready, it will add it into my slides file over here, my slide deck over here on the left-hand side. So let me show you how to do that once more. Just going to delete this. To add it back into the deck, all I have to do is click on the template here. Okay, so again, it added my template in here. If I wanted to present this to my 13, 14-year-old students, I would maybe change this prompt here because I'm not sure that that would have made perfect sense to my students. Stress check wouldn't have. So I can always say, how are you feeling? You can also modify these descriptors down here as well. So when I say that the templates are the easiest way to become a Pear Deck user, I mean it because it comes with interactivity, it's quick to add to your existing presentations, and it's just an easy way to use the add-on for the first time. Okay. The other thing that I want to point out about this slide, so if you're not looking at my shared Zoom screen right now, I want you to direct your attention back there because this is an important point about Pear Deck slides. You may have noticed on the bottom of this template here that we have this Pear Deck footer. So this is your indication that this is now a Pear Deck interactive slide. It says it here, down here in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm not sure if you can see that. I know it's kind of small, but it says Pear Deck interactive slide, and it also says do not remove this bar. So for this slide to remain interactive for students, you just need to leave this footer where it is. You can't delete it or move it. It has to stay there. You'll also find that if I expand these notes a little bit, you can see here in my actual notes in Google Slides, it tells me that this is a Pear Deck draggable slide. So there are two indications for you that this is now interactive with Pear Deck. Okay, so we've covered the first thing, which is the templates. The second thing that I want to show you is how to use the add-on, again, over here on the right-hand side, to make a fully static slide interactive with Pear Deck. So this is a slide that is not interactive right now. If you are anything like me, after a long time of trying to stay inside as much as possible, I'm dreaming about travel again someday. So what I did to build this slide is I just found this from a Google image search, just grabbed a map of the world from Google Images. I dropped this prompt in here using a text box, and then I actually found this little character from one of our templates. So you can also always use the templates over here just to pull graphics if you'd like to. Okay, to make this slide interactive, I come over here to this second thing we're going to cover, which is the Ask Students a Question section. And I want to make this a draggable slide. And I want to encourage you to pay close attention to what happens when I click some of these options over here. The first thing I'm going to do is click draggable. And when I do that, you'll see that on my screen, a slide builder will pop up. There are two things going on this slide builder. So over on the right-hand side is the student preview. So this is what the draggable slide is going to look like for students. You can see my little prompt here. Where's your dream travel destination? And you can also see the draggable icon up here in the top right-hand corner. If I want to make the icon bigger or smaller, I can do that by just dragging this bar down here at the bottom. So I can change the size of the draggable item so that students can answer more precisely. Okay. I think that I want to make this a pin, but I will demonstrate changing this icon so that you can see the full variety over here on the left-hand side under draggable options. So we have our shapes, our math symbols, numbers, people, animals, and punctuation marks. I want to make this a pin, So I select pin, and then you can also change the color of your draggable item. So you'll see that that's reflected over here in the student preview screen. If you want to add more than one draggable item per slide, you can do that. You can add up to 5 draggable items per slide. And to do so from this slide builder here, you would just click add another. And you'll see when you do that, then this preview over here updates automatically as well. You can do that up to 5 times. And you can change these to be any sort of thing you want. So they can all be different icons and different colors. Okay. And then I'm going to click update slide once I'm done editing. Okay, update slide. We'll give it a moment to think. And then once that happens, you'll see again that this slide gets updated down here at the bottom with this interactive footer. And I have all those icons that I added down here as well. I also want to mention that if you change your mind and you decide to swap out the interactivity type, you can always come over here and just click on a different activity type. So right now, again, this is a Pear Deck draggable slide. I can see that from my notes section. But if I want to make it a drawing slide, for example, all I would have to do is click draw over here from the Ask Students a Question section. The same is true for your template slides. So you can modify the prompts and the descriptors on templates, and you can modify the interactivity type as well. All you would have to do is click draw, and it would just automatically swap out the interactivity from draggable to drawing, and you'll see it even updates this footer down here. The third thing from the add-on that I want to show you is how to add audio to your slides. And to do that, you again come back to the add-on, click add audio to slide, and then you'll get this audio recorder box that pops up. This box here that says add audio. So let me show you how to do that one more time. So you can add audio to your interactive Pear Deck slides or your static Google slides, that don't have Pear Deck interactivity incorporated in them. All you have to do is click add audio to slide from here. And then you have a couple of options. The first is to record live. So record your instructions or your greetings from this audio box, or you can click upload here and upload any audio file from your desktop. I'm going to click record, and then I'll just leave you quick instructions for later. So, hi, good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. Please spend the next 5 to 6 minutes working in student paced mode. Stop working and sit quietly when you reach the next yellow instructions slide. Okay, so that's 18 seconds of instructions for students that they will be able to listen to from their own devices. I can add to this recording if I'd like. So if I forgot something and I need to tack something onto the end, I can do that. I can delete it and start over, or I can save and add it to the slide. So let me show you what it looks like to resume recording. All I'll do is click this red resume button, and I will say, if you have any questions, please reach out to me on Zoom or in Google Classroom. Then I will click save once I'm satisfied that I've recorded everything. You'll see that I have my recorded audio file here, so I can listen back to it. I can delete and start over, but I'm going to add this audio to the slide. Once I've added the audio to the slide, a little text box prompt will be included up here in the top right-hand corner. And you don't actually listen to the audio from here, but this is the indication for students that there's audio included for them to listen to. And they'll be able to do that from their student screen. Unlike the Pear Deck footer, you can move this around as much or as little as you'd like. So if you want to make it more prominent, or you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can definitely do that. I would just encourage you to make sure that it's in a place where students will see it so they know that you've left some audio for them to listen to. The fourth and final thing that I'm going to show you from the add-on today is actually how to start your Pear Deck lesson. So this is, again, I think the most important thing that I'm going to tell you today. So if you're just listening along, I would encourage you to turn your eyes back to my shared Zoom screen and watch as I do this. Okay, so from the Pear Deck add-on or the add-in from in PowerPoint, from the Pear Deck add-on, I'm going to click this green Start Lesson button, and that's how I start my Pear Deck session for students. You'll see when I do that I have two options here. I can launch directly into a student-paced activity, or I can launch a live instructor-paced activity. I am actually not going to launch a Pear Deck session today because, as you can see, there are 300 plus people in this webinar, and Pear Deck works really well for normal class sizes up to about 100 people. We don't have a limit, but since I'm running Zoom and a very large Pear Deck session, I'm not going to have you join my session today. However, we are going to send out the student-paced link after, and I'm going to demo for you now what it looks like to be a student in a Pear Deck session. So you're not missing out. You will get to experience Pear Deck as a student, and I'm also going to demo what it looks like as a student in just a minute. But first, I am going to answer a couple of questions that Annika and Emma sent me before we get started from the student view. So the first question from Stephanie: if you edit a slide or add a slide while presenting in Pear Deck, would the edited or added slide be used, or would that not work? So that's a good question. It won't show up in the Pear Deck session. So if the session is already live and students have joined, it won't work for them, although it will be reflected the next time you launch a Pear Deck session from that Google Slides file. So the slide file will remain the same. It will update automatically, but you will have to come back and click Start Lesson again for it to be updated in your Pear Deck session. However, there is a feature called New Prompt that you can use to drop templates and interactive question types into your Pear Deck session from your Pear Deck teacher dashboard. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, another question from Sarah. Sarah asks, if I create slides in Pear Deck, can I share those with colleagues to use? And does my having premium and them having free accounts affect the use of shared slides? Very good question, Sarah. So if you create slides in Pear Deck, you can absolutely share them with colleagues to use. You'll just share them like a normal Google Slides file. So you can click share from up here, or you can even publish your Pear Deck to share your lesson from right within the add-on. But the interactivity will go with the shared slides file. Also, if you have premium and they don't, your premium slides will go to them in the Google Slides file. The only difference is that they won't be able to create new premium slides, but your slides that you create with a premium account will work for them. It's a tiny little loophole. Nancy asked, how long can the audio be? Is there a time limit? There is. There's a 30-minute time limit per slide. Although, as you all very well know, that's a lot of audio. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend including that much audio, especially not on every slide. Although I know a lot of social studies teachers are using like speeches and audio as a sort of primary source. That's a good question, Nancy. So Katie asks, can students record as well? Students cannot record audio responses from within Pear Deck. However, you can embed different ed tech tools that allow students to respond with video or audio. I know a lot of teachers use Pear Deck and Flipgrid together, for example. And if you use another ed tech tool, I'll show you how to do this on my screen actually. If you use another ed tech tool that allows students to respond with audio or video, then you can use the Pear Deck website slide right over here from the add-on. And you can embed your Flipgrid or even like your Ed Puzzle, Screencastify you can embed that here using a Pear Deck website slide. Okay, I'm going to answer 3 more questions and we're going to move forward. If I send a Pear Deck presentation to students through Google Classroom, do they still need to go to the Pear Deck website to join? If you send them a link or a notification in Google Classroom, they don't need to go to joinpd.com. They'll just click the link and it will automatically take them to the join screen, and it will even bypass them through having to enter, the join code. So if you have a Google Classroom integration, that's a great option. I will also say that we are launching integrations for Schoology and for Canvas in about a week. So we will have 2 brand new integrations and 3 full LMS integrations, Google Classroom, Schoology, and Canvas. Okay, let's see. Kids would just click on the audio rectangle to listen to the recording, Michael asked. Actually, I will show you in just a moment from the student screen what it looks like to listen to audio. This is their indicator. They will have a little set of headphones from their student control bar, and they can see what it looks like. I'll show you what it looks like in just a second for them to listen to audio. So let me show you this. Direct your attention back to my shared Zoom screen, please. I'm going to show you what it looks like to be a student in a student-paced session. And it largely resembles what it looks like to be a student in a live session as well. The biggest difference, as you may have come to the conclusion already, the biggest difference between being in student-paced and teacher-paced is that in one, the student moves themselves forward, and in the other, the teacher controls the pace. So without further ado, this is a Pear Deck student-paced mode. I can click through this same presentation that I was in earlier. You'll see that this is the template slide that I updated here. You'll see that this is what it looks like to interact with a Pear Deck draggable slide. And my answers are updating automatically into my teacher dashboard. So to be a student means that you get to interact with Pear Deck from your student device. I'll show you also. So this is what it looks like for a slide to have audio included. So you'll see here that nothing happens when I click the audio included button, but I have these little headphones down here, and that's where I can listen to the audio that the teacher has included for me. I also want to show you this button down here in the bottom right-hand corner is our immersive reader integration. So whether or not you are a spec ed teacher, I think that you are going to find immersive reader especially useful if you have students in your classroom who need a little bit of close reading support, if you have students in your classroom who are who benefit from reading in a language or hearing slides read aloud to them in a language that's not English or is not the language on the slide. And also students who benefit from hearing the text read aloud to them at all. So, okay, this is what immersive reader looks like. I can play the read aloud here. I can change what the text looks like. So if I'm a student who needs a blue background or a yellow background, I can change the background using immersive reader. I can increase spacing and size as well. And then I can also change the way that different parts of speech are highlighted, and even do single line focus. I love immersive reader. It is honestly my favorite collaboration. It's my favorite tool. You can even turn on a picture library that defines words for students. Okay. So this is what it looks like to be a student in student paced mode. Again, answers are submitted automatically. Students don't have to click anything to submit them. They're automatically updated. From the teacher side, you can see student results coming in from your teacher dashboard. So we like to call the teacher dashboard the Pear Deck superpower. This is what the dashboard looks like. You can see the number of responses you're waiting on. You can see the entire roster of students, so how many people have joined. You can turn on student pace or turn it off, and you can share student responses with students by clicking Show Responses. So again, I know that this isn't quite the full Pear Deck experience because you haven't joined yet, but you will get a link to a student-paced session in the follow-up email, so you'll get to experience Pear Deck. And you can see from the teacher dashboard that as the teacher, you can see how every single student responded and also which students haven't responded yet. So for example, I can see that I had a student yesterday in my session named Carolyn who hadn't responded down here. Then I can see all the student responses over here. This is a Pear Deck teacher dashboard that is in student-paced mode. To share this link with students, all I have to do is come up here, click the join code, and then I can copy the link here, or I can share to Classroom. So I can copy the link or share to Classroom from the join code up here in the top right-hand corner. When you launch your first Pear Deck session, you will also have the option upon launching to share the link, the code, or to push it out to whatever LMS you've integrated as well. So you can copy the link here or share to Classroom. A couple of other things that I want to show you about the teacher dashboard, because we actually haven't even got to the good part of the teacher dashboard yet. So let me show you. I'm going to turn off student pace so that I can show you the full function of the dashboard. Okay, first of all, I've noticed that a couple of people are asking if you can lock student answers, and you can. So to lock screens or lock in student answers, all you have to do from your teacher dashboard is click lock screens. Let me jump back to my student presentation, and this is what it looks like. I can no longer change my response, and I have this little message up here that says your teacher has locked responses for this slide. If you need to give students a little bit more time to respond, you can do that as well by clicking lock screens and holding down. And then you can even give them a timer. So if I wanted to give my students 30 more seconds, I could do that. And then I'm going to jump back to the student screen here, and I can see the timer up here. So I have 20 seconds left to respond. And now that my screen is unlocked, I can move my slider bar again. And I'm feeling okay today. I'm a little bit stressed. We've got a lot going on here at Pear Deck. I think probably you all are feeling the same way. 3 seconds left. Once this timer expires, my screen will automatically lock. So again, let me show you how to use the timer. From the teacher dashboard, you will click lock screens and hold down, and then you can give students a 30-second, a 1-minute, or a 3-minute timer. Okay. A couple of other features from the teacher dashboard that I want to show you. The first is how to give students in-app immediate feedback. So this is me. I'm the student in here named Brooke, and I'm going to give myself a little bit of feedback from the teacher dashboard by clicking this thought bubble icon here. And you'll see when I hover over it, it says leave feedback. And I can say, what's stressing you out? Anything I can help with? And then I'm going to send that feedback. So you can see a timestamp here. I'm going to pop back over to my student screen, And now you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner that I have new feedback. And I can read it from the teacher by clicking the thought bubble. I can mark it as read, and then I can respond to the teacher whatever way we communicate. So I would probably respond to the teacher. I would respond to the teacher in Google Classroom or something. Okay. So again, from the teacher dashboard side, you can leave feedback here using this little thought bubble. Okay. When you project responses to students, so when I click show responses for students, they appear on the shared screen anonymously. So students can see how every other student in the class responded, but they can't see who responded or in what way. And we do that on purpose at Pear Deck because we want to open up the space for students to respond openly and honestly, make sure that every student has a voice. But from my teacher dashboard, again, I can see names for every student assigned to their response. And I can do a couple of things with their individual responses, aside from giving them feedback. So I can hide student responses. So if a student submits something sensitive or inappropriate or distracting, I can hide their response from the class before sharing it. So you'll see if I hide these responses, I can hide a student's response if I don't want it to be shared with the rest of the class. Or if I want to specifically highlight or curate a set of highlighted responses, I can do that by clicking the star. So I can star the answer. And when I do that, those are the only responses that will be shown for the rest of the class. So with the teacher dashboard, you can highlight student responses, you can hide student responses, or you can give students feedback. You can also use the teacher dashboard to give students a link or project the join code. You can see your roster, so you can see which students have joined, which students have become inactive, for example. You can also see who you're waiting on a response from. 16 out of 17 responses from here. I would know that I'm waiting still on Carolyn to respond. I will also show you what it looks like to add a new prompt. So if you'll remember back to about 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, maybe Sarah asked if you can edit the Pear Deck while you're in the middle of a session. And you can't from Google Slides. However, you can using this new prompt feature down here. So when I click new prompt, you'll see that I have several options to drop in a new template for students to respond to, an agree, disagree, or a quick Venn diagram, or I can take the current content, so my stress check slide, and I can drop an entirely new type of Pear Deck interactivity on top of it. So this was originally a draggable, if you'll remember that. I could move this vertical line from here, but if I want to make this a text question, for example, so that students can elaborate on their responses, all I have to do is click text. Let me show you how to add a new prompt once more. Okay, so from the bottom of the screen, you will click new prompt. And when you click a new prompt, you will have all of these options come up here. Okay, and then I can just click text and it will automatically make this a new text question where I can elaborate on my response. Okay. So that's what it looks like to participate as a student. This little bar to go away. And then this is what the teacher dashboard looks like. And then you can see that my answer updated here. I'm worried about back to school. It is 3:45. We have about 15 minutes left. There are a few more things that I want to show you. I'm going to put this in student paced, and to put a session in student paced mode, all you have to do from the teacher dashboard is click these three little dots. Then you'll click turn on student paced. You'll get this little pop-up here, and now students can move through the presentation at their own pace. A couple of things that I want to show you. The first is the templates landing page. So someone earlier, it looks like someone asked to see an embedded video from the student view. I don't know if I have a video here, but I do have this Pear Deck website slide here. And I have the content resources here as well. So my computer is slowing down a little bit. Please excuse me, Pear Deck or Zoom is, I think, dragging it down. So while we wait for this to load, this is what it looks like for students to see a Pear Deck website slide. So the website will load over here on the right-hand side. They can expand your prompt if they need to, so they can still see your slide over here on the left-hand side. And then you can scroll through the website that the teacher has linked here. Okay. So we'll wait for this slide to load. I am going to take the next few minutes to respond to some questions. Again, this was a very large session today, so thank you for hanging tight. I know there were a ton of questions, so I'm going to try to answer all of them while this slide loads over here. I'm going to jump in to take a look at some of these questions. So Deborah asks, once I add a Pear Deck slide, I have to click start lesson in order to engage the interactive features. Deborah, that's exactly right. You will click start lesson from the Pear Deck add-on. Try this way instead. There we go. Okay. The next question is, please show an embedded video from the student view. So I don't think I have one, but I did just show you what a Pear Deck website slide looks like. And the website will load on the right-hand side for students, and then they'll still be able to see the slide on the left-hand side as well. Okay. Next question is, how do you share student pace mode lessons with the students? So again, from your teacher dashboard to share the student pace mode link, you will click this join code, or you can copy the link when you launch your Pear Deck session. You can do it either way, but I can copy the link here from right within my dashboard, or I can share to Classroom, Canvas, or Schoology as well. Okay. The next question, do I need to have two tabs open at the same time? A teacher dashboard and the presentation mode? Good question. Yes. You'll either need to have two windows or two tabs, or you can even use two devices. So I am running this session from one computer. I'm running it from my laptop. Obviously, you can see my two tabs here, but I can also run it from my phone or a tablet or a second computer. I have the benefit of having a second screen here, my second monitor, so that helps me sort of like keep things divided. But if you want to open your teacher dashboard on a second device, please tune into my shared screen. I will show you how to do that now. To open your teacher dashboard on a phone or a tablet or a second computer, come down here to these three little dots. Again, your dashboard will open automatically on the computer where you're presenting from. But click these three little dots, and then you can click, oops, I think I can't do this in student paste, but you can click open the dashboard in on a new device. And then you will see the the instructions for opening the dashboard on a new device pop up on your screen. So all you have to have is a device with a browser and an internet connection. Okay. Students can't respond to feedback directly in Pear Deck, but they can adjust their answers accordingly to teacher feedback. You can also have some students in teacher paced and others in student paced. You'll just need to have 2 separate sessions. So you can have multiple student paced sessions open, and then limited number, in fact, open at once. So you can have several different groups of students differentiated working on different student paced decks. This is a good option if you have like clusters of students who are going to work together this year, small groups. And then you can also have one teacher paced. You can have one teacher paced open as well. So again, just a quick reminder, teacher paced is more like a normal presentation. So that's where you will be guiding the pace through the slides for students. Student paced is when students can move through the slides on their own time at their own pace. So you'll see that this is no longer in student paced mode and I can't move forward or back here. Okay, I will answer a few more of these questions here before moving on. Once you change the presentation to student paced mode, do they have to complete the presentation at that moment, or can they finish it for homework? Great question. They can definitely finish it for homework or for review. It will stay open and stay in student paced mode until you end the session or until you put it back into teacher paced mode. So they can definitely use it for homework. Can you preset certain slides to be student paced? So you can't do that within an instructor paced lesson. So you can't have partially student paced and partially teacher paced. You will have to just have the session all or one or the other. How do I set student paced mode for asynchronous distance learning? So this is a deck. So let's pretend that this is a lesson that I created for students. To use this for asynchronous learning, I would rely heavily on the add audio feature from the add-on. So that's a really great way to make sure that students have all of the prompts down and all of the instructions that they need. From these 3 little dots down here, you can turn on student paced. As long as the students have the deck and they have the instructions that they need from you, they'll be able to work through it on their own time. And then I know in Canvas and Schoology and even Google Classroom, they can you can assign them as assignments, and then once they're done working, their answers will save automatically, and they can, once they've submitted their answers, they can submit the assignment in the LMS where you assigned it. Okay, so those are all the questions I see coming in from Annika and Emma. I want to highlight something quickly for you, which is our social media handles. So if you are new to Pear Deck, or even if you're not new to Pear Deck and you're on Twitter, I highly recommend you follow along at Pear Deck. We announce new product features, a lot of fun PD, swag giveaways, other ed tech partnerships, and we answer a lot of questions there too. So follow along at Pear Deck. If you are like me, you also like to watch webinars or videos when you're learning something new and pause the video to practice along. So if that's the case and you want more Pear Deck practice or more instruction, I would highly encourage you to check out our YouTube page, where we have a lot of quick help videos and previously recorded webinars. So both of those places are going to be great resources for you. Also, I would encourage you to check out a couple of our partnerships. So our content collaborations. The first of those is the Weekly Wonders collaboration. Our Weekly Wonders are a weekly release of 3 different sets of templates They're great for generating discussion. They'll be good, I think, for back to school when you're getting to know a new group of students. But I would encourage you to find the weekly wonders. You can find them from the Orchard, which is where we host all of our content. Annika or Emma, not sure if you have a link to the Orchard. If you wouldn't mind just dropping that in the chat, that would be useful. Another thing that you can find from the Orchard, which is where, again, Pear Deck hosts all of our different pre-made, ready-to-use content, are the Newsela Daily Decks. So the Newsela Daily Decks are a partnership between Newsela, Annika, thank you. Annika dropped the Orchard into, a link to the Orchard into the Zoom chat. Okay, the Newsela Daily Decks are a collaboration between Newsela and Pear Deck. Newsela's curated news articles with Pear Deck interactivity built around them. So this is a great way to practice literacy, to teach students to read about and discuss the news. And it's just a good way to spark discussion and to warm up some brains, especially during back to school time. Okay. I'm going to go back to this social media page in case you want to take a quick screenshot of it. We have about 4 minutes left. I am going to spend this time answering questions. If you have to jump off or you have to run, thank you so much for being here today. I hope that this was a useful webinar for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at help@peardeck.com, or you can reach out to me directly at brooke@peardeck.com. I'll make sure that you get to the right person. Otherwise, I'm going to spend a little bit more time answering some questions. And if you have to jump off, have a lovely Tuesday, stay healthy and safe, and we'll talk to you soon. As a reminder, you will get a copy of a webinar and you'll get the deck as well. Okay, so let's do a little bit more Q&A. Can the presentation be a combination of Pear Deck and just regular Google Slides? 100%, absolutely. You don't have to make every slide interactive for students. I would actually encourage you not to do that because that can take a lot of time, right? Okay. If we are using Google Classroom, will the children have to let us know they completed the assignment? They don't have to, so it will automatically save their responses, but I believe that you can set that up as a feature in Google Classroom. So if you want them to let you know, they can. You can assign it to them in Google Classroom. In the teacher dashboard, do you have to build a class, or does it occur automatically when the student signs on using the link? I'm not totally sure what that means. It automatically generates this join code. So when you click Start Lesson from the Pear Deck add-on, it will automatically generate a join code for you. And then from your settings page, so this is my Pear Deck homepage, I'll just show you how to turn this on. I'll click my account, and then from your settings page, you can turn on the Google Classroom or LMS integration, and then you can use the class roster to do that. But yes, there's no need to build a class. You'll see their names automatically as long as they log in with their district email address. Okay. Does each presentation have to be copied for different classrooms? Or for different classes? No, you can use the same Google Slides file. You'll just click Start Lesson for each different section if you want their answers to remain separate, to stay in different dashboards. But you don't have to change the Google Slides file if you want it to be the same content for each group. Okay. I think that is mostly all of the questions. I'm going to look through the chat a little bit. Pear Deck does work with Seesaw. You would just add the link to Seesaw. Yes, Heather, that's a good question. If you're presenting from Microsoft Teams, we have a full video. If you go to our help videos, you can find our help videos on You can find our help videos on our Pear Deck website, and we have a full Microsoft Teams and Pear Deck tutorial. So I would recommend doing that. I don't have enough time left to explain Teams and Pear Deck to you, but we have a really good video for that. Do most schools pay for premium, or do we need that? A lot of teachers use the free version of Pear Deck. So if you don't want to purchase premium right away, you can sign up today. You'll get a free 90-day premium trial, so you can test it out at first. And then some schools do choose to pay for Pear Deck for their teachers, and there are certainly benefits to having premium, the biggest of which is a lot of the teacher dashboard functions live behind the premium paywall, but a lot of teachers do very successfully use Pear Deck for free. So at the end of the day, it's definitely up to you. Okay. Let me look back through this. Emma, thank you so much for including that link to the Teams integration overview. Okay. My email, in case you have questions, is Brooke, B-R-O-O-K-E, Brooke with an E, at peardeck.com, or you can email help. If you create with premium, your premium slides that you created will actually you'll still have access to them. So if you create with premium and you use draggable slides or drawing slides or premium features, you'll still have access to those and they'll still work for students. You just won't be able to create any new ones without premium. Okay, so Emma, thank you so much. The next question I was going to answer was about premium licenses, but Emma just dropped the pricing page into the chat. Okay, everyone, I want to be respectful of your time. We are 1 minute past, so I'm going to end this webinar for everyone. Thank you for coming. I hope that you have had a nice summer. I hope that you are safe and healthy and well, and that your families are safe and healthy too. I hope that back to school goes really well. I hope that you have a great time getting to meet your new kiddos. And thank you for being here. Thanks for using Pear Deck. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being here, everyone. Have a good day.